Aloha Kauai. Here's our daily COVID-19 briefing from Team Kauai for Wednesday, May 13th. Our cumulative number of confirmed cases remains at 21, and all cases have now recovered or left the island. This means we have no confirmed active cases of COVID-19 on Kauai at this time. Kauai's tally of cases and other information on COVID-19 can be found on the Kauai Emergency Management Agency or KEMA site at www.kauai.gov/COVID-19. To view the total number of positive cases across the state, please visit hawaiicovid19.com. The daily count on this site is updated at noon every day. Yesterday, we discussed the importance of mental health, and one of the spaces so important to our mental health here in Hawaii is the ocean and our beaches. While beaches are open for exercise such as swimming or walking, we realize that continuous exercise is not possible for our kupuna or disabled individuals or families with young children. We also understand that our residents rely on the beach as their outlet. The ocean is my sanctuary, and we've heard from so many of you who feel the same. Beach activities have been an ongoing discussion with our Kauai Emergency Management team, including our health officials, and we feel strongly that our residents should be able to use the beach more freely than currently allowed under the Governor's 7th proclamation. At the same time, we know that masses of people hanging next to each other on the beach will increase exposure and put people at risk of spreading COVID-19. This requires us to strike a balance, to allow our people the freedom they need to visit the beach without putting one another at risk. As a result, we created Mayor's Emergency Rule number 8, which allows people to use the beach under the following restrictions. All groups should be part of the same household and should not exceed 10 people. Any and all persons on the beach who are not part of the same household shall comply with social distancing requirements, with the exception of caregivers escorting a dependent. Beaches or sand area may only be used a half hour before sunrise to a half hour after sunset, unless a person is engaged in shoreline fishing or permitted outdoor exercise. All other restrictions found in the Governor's Safer at Home order must be followed, such as quarantine restrictions. Further, we would discourage potlucks and barbecues, as these activities lend itself to large group gatherings, and sharing food with people we don't live with will increase exposure. Mayor's Emergency Rule number 8 is a 2-week pilot which was approved by Governor Ige and is effective from Friday, May 15th to Friday, May 29th. The intent of this 2-week period is to monitor our ability to open our beaches while following CDC guidelines and to maintain social distancing with people who are not in our same household. As we get closer to the end of the 2-week pilot, we will reevaluate if we can or should continue this local rule. So please, folks, let's all do our part so that we can continue to use our beaches the way that we all want to. That's going to require a tremendous amount of self-discipline, self-governance, and of course, friendly reminders to our friends and family about the reason and the importance of social distancing and abiding by these guidelines. Let's do it, folks. Our residents' ability to move more freely in our community is dependent on a successful monitoring program for incoming visitors. So along with our pilot program to reopen our beaches, we also see the need to extend the quarantine for all incoming visitors. As such, we drafted Mayor's Emergency Rule number 9, which extends the current mandatory quarantine through June 30th. This emergency rule has also been signed and approved by the Governor. The period of self-quarantine begins from the date of entry onto the island and lasts 14 days or the duration of the person's presence on island, whichever is shorter. Quarantine means that the incoming traveler, whether resident or visitor, stay inside his or her hotel room or home, and any food or supplies needed must be delivered. Persons traveling between islands for purpose of medical care are exempt for the quarantine as long as they wear appropriate protective gear while out in public. Those traveling for critical infrastructure functions, as identified in the Governor's proclamation, are still subject to the 14-day quarantine, but are allowed to break quarantine only to perform necessary work functions. Any food or supplies must still be delivered to these individuals. Again, we believe at this point in time we have got a good hold of COVID-19 on our island, but if any incoming person were to come to Kauai with COVID-19, be it resident or visitor, we can quickly lose our grip on this virus. So it is imperative that we have a good system in place to ensure that incoming arrivals strictly follow quarantine orders. We have an incredible enforcement team here on Kauai that has gone above and beyond to help fill the gaps in the current screening system. And with the increased movement of people in our community, they will focus more intently on monitoring those under quarantine. This includes knocking on the doors of these individuals. So if you're subject to the mandatory quarantine, please be sure you're following the rules in place. Mahalo to our Kauai Police Department officers, our National Guard, and the Kauai Visitors Bureau for helping to protect our island. As a reminder, everyone across the state is subject to the governor's Safer at Home order. It is our intent to follow the governor's lead in our response to COVID-19 as much as possible. However, we know Kauai is unique and we have unique needs. Our local rules number 8 and 9 are in response to those needs. We've heard from you, our residents, that freedom to visit our beaches is important to you, and we agree. We also agree that our ability to move more freely across our own community requires better management of incoming visitors. Emergency rules number 8 and 9 help to address those issues. Now is the time for all of us to exercise self-discipline so that we can continue to reopen our businesses and activities while keeping each other safe. Unfortunately, we are seeing increased complacency as more people are disregarding social distancing or not wearing masks when in close contact with others, and that puts us at risk. This is not the time to let down our guard. We know that several of Hawaii's recent cases of COVID-19 came from residents who became infected while traveling out of state and brought the virus home with them. The point is, it is not just visitors who are putting our island at risk of spreading this virus. It is equally important for our residents to quarantine when necessary. The more people who break quarantine or attempt to get exemptions, the more we increase that risk. Coronavirus is still active in our state. It is still extremely active on the mainland, and it continues to spread around the world. If we let our guard down too soon, if we disregard the protective measures in place, then when the second wave of this virus hits our island, and we know that they will come, it has the potential to be so much more widespread. To protect our keiki, to protect our kupuna, and to protect our community, we must be diligent in following our very simple safety protocols. Stay home as much as possible. Refrain from social gatherings and public outings. If you must interact with people outside of your home, maintain a distance of 6 feet of separation and wear a mask. Do not leave home if you are sick unless you're seeking medical attention, and then only after calling your doctor first. Wash your hands frequently and clean surfaces often. As a reminder, folks, the purpose of wearing a mask is to keep our germs to ourselves. My mask protects you, and your mask protects me. It's the ultimate sign at this point in our operation of showing others that you care about their health and safety. It is the ultimate sign of showing respect to others by keeping our germs to ourselves. Of course, there are exemptions, medical exemptions, that are based on CDC guidelines. So I urge all of you to visit CDC website to see if your medical condition warrants an exemption. Stay informed and connected during this time of social distancing. We'll continue to post updates on our official County of Kauai Facebook page or on our Kauai Emergency Management Agency page at www.kauai.gov/COVID-19. The Centers for Disease Control is also updating its website regularly. For more information, please visit coronavirus.gov. Not everyone has internet access or follows the news, so please help to keep your loved ones informed. We're going to get through this, Kauai. Be kind, take care of one another. God bless, and aloha.